Big news, YouTube. Today, we're going to watch Dave Mustaine prove that Megadeth is better than Metallica. Now, as we all know, there's an eternal war going on between these two bands. Dave Mustaine got kicked out of Metallica back in the early 80s and has been a bit bitter ever since. Now, I had someone in my comment sections the other day recommend this video, and it is entitled, "Hi Mustaine Accidentally Proves Metallica's Better Than Megadeth." It is time to prove that you are better than you were in 2022. Best way to level up in 2023 is to grab my free guitar newsletter below. Free tabs on guitar technique, music theory, and even songwriting. Don't get it twisted. Dave Mustaine is very educated on all of those topics. I know he'd like to make you think that it's just sort of this intuitive magic inside of him, you know, how he got to be such a good guitarist and songwriter, but that's something that took a lot of work. Are you ready to watch Dave Mustaine prove, while high, that he is better than Metallica? Here we go.
And every piece that I read about Megadeth, there's always some comment about Metallica and Megadeth.
If you play both records at the same time, you can tell who does what, and that there's melody and mosh, and that there's mosh, and melody and mosh.
Definitely more notes per dollar on our record.
Yeah. We're a thinking band, and they're a thrashing band, you know? And it's not that hard to sit there and go wheelie-doo on the leads, you know, instead of trying to do pentatonic inverted scales and diversified things. I mean, I play guitar.
So what is Dave Mustaine saying so far? Essentially, he's criticizing the simplistic structure of Metallica's music, right? He's saying, my music has more deep thought in it. The composition is of a more complicated nature, and thus it's superior to songs like One, which we just heard a clip of, which are just simple, silly tunes, right? Let's see what he says here.
I mean, I play guitar, and one song on this new record, I use my thumb to fret off the octave, and I'm going 12 fret span and using my pinky at the other end to get that thing done.
Okay, yeah, here's the technique. Let's check this out. So he's also saying, I am innovating in the realm of technique and coming up with new ways to play the instrument, whereas Metallica is not.
Those guys are the last person that I ever would imagine seeing do stuff like that. We use a lot of double hand playing, you know.
David Ellison.
You know, different chords. There's chords where you finger like this, and then you finger like that real quick to do a second chord faster than going da-da.
That's a Spider Chord.
And it just goes so much faster, you know, there's intelligence.
So now Dave is talking about his infamous Spider Chord, where basically he's using different sets of fingers to finger the G string, right? And to play power chords. Again, he's making an argument that his music is superior based on technical innovation.
In our playing, we're trying to rip the guitar apart.
Let's back up a little bit.
That's a Spider Chord.
And it just goes so much faster, you know, there's intelligence in our playing. We're trying to rip the guitar apart and put it back together.
There's intelligence in our playing.
I beat its guts out on stage.
This is actually a fascinating topic to consider. Is Megadeth better than Metallica because they have more thought-out song structures and more innovative techniques? Well, I want to hear your opinion on this. I will say that the more notes you play and the more technical you get, the more you're going to alienate the average consumer. The technical component itself is not what moves people. And at the end of the day, music really is an emotional language, right? Now, a guy like Bach, probably the greatest composer to ever live, he was able to use math to also play pleasing structure. So there's an emotive component to what he was doing, but it was also highly intellectual. That's actually rarely the case, though. If you hear complicated modern music, oftentimes it doesn't make you feel something too. If you look at the numbers, Metallica has sold 125 million records, whereas Megadeth has only sold 38 million. If you're going to assess quality of the music based on the general consensus, then it is clear that the more simplistic structures in composition have worked better for Metallica. Now, as someone who gets very technical in their own music, I really empathize with what Megadeth is doing. And I would just say, if you're, let's say you have a band and you're writing your own songs, just be really aware of the fact that the more notes you play and the more complicated you get, the fewer people are going to be able to understand what you're doing. Now, there is a way I like to think about, like Van Halen. They were able to include virtuosity in their music while also making it fun and accessible to the masses. So I do think that this isn't a zero-sum game. There's a way to be sophisticated and maintain relatability. Shred that subscribe button 666-420-69 times, and be sure to check out my free guitar newsletter below. I mean, let's be honest here. What do you have to lose? It's free. It's going to level you up with free lessons on guitar technique, songwriting, music theory. It's a great way to get musically jacked in 2023.